At the beginning of April 14th, not too much was amiss. Life was going well on the Titanic, and she was continuing across the ocean at a pretty fast rate. And that was very impressive because the last boiler room wasn't lit. Jack Phillips and Harold Bride, the two wireless operators, continued to sort through the backlog of messages and to take ice warnings to the bridge. After a while, the Titanic's horn sounded for the last time at noon. At about 7:20 p.m. that night, the wireless operator on the Titanic hears a very loud ring in his headphones. That ring was from a message being sent by the SS Californian. The ship was stopped for the night due to being surrounded by icebergs. The Titanic's radio operator literally tells him to shut up and goes back to doing his messages. The Californian's operator thinks that was pretty rude and goes to bed for the night. They would not know about what happened to the Titanic several hours later. At 11:40 p.m. that night, lookout Frederick Fleet spots an iceberg in front of the Titanic. The Titanic is very close and only had about 30 to 40 seconds to avoid impact. The person at the helm turns the wheel until it is hard over, basically until the rudder cannot turn anymore. The Titanic, its engines are set to stop, and slowly, very slowly, the bow begins to swing away from the iceberg. But it is not enough. Titanic hits the iceberg on her starboard side below the waterline, puncturing 6 of her watertight compartments. And remember, the Titanic could only stay afloat with 4 compartments flooded. After the iceberg impact, damage inspections were carried out. The Titanic was set to move ahead very, very slowly, and the damage inspections proved that Titanic was going to sink. The wireless operators were told to send out an SOS, and a ship named the RMS Carpathia responded. And originally, the crew on the Carpathia did not believe that the Titanic was actually sinking, because during the time of Marconi wireless systems, there were actually trolls who would use the systems and say that they were a certain ship sinking, even though there was not. So that's why the Carpathia's crew didn't really believe it. Although the wireless operator on the Carpathia and the one on the Titanic were friends, so he knew that it wasn't fake. He rushed into the captain's bedroom when he was sleeping and told the captain what was going on. The captain believed him, and they made all course for the Titanic. Titanic was doomed. SOS calls were sent out. Lifeboats were launched. Passengers originally weren't all that concerned, but as the Titanic's bow dropped lower and as the power got weaker, the passengers started to panic and actually want to get into the lifeboats. Lifeboats, as I said, were launched, and as Titanic's bow went lower and the stern went higher, the boats left the scene, lights were spotted in the distance, and flares were shot up from Titanic's bridge. Within 2 hours, Titanic had sank. Thank you all for watching this part. As this part kind of takes place on April 14th, I will not be talking about the Carpathia's rescue of the Titanic survivors in this one, but don't worry, because the next part, which I'm thinking of putting it out on April 16th, will focus all about the Carpathia, the survivors getting onto the Carpathia, the inquiries that happened, and basically the fallout of the Titanic sinking. So, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.